How's it going? Dave here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking all about the circle of fifths. I'm going to be showing you all the different ways that you can use the circle of fifths to your advantage as well. So let's get started. So we have the circle of fifths here, and the circle of fifths is really good for helping us become more familiar with notes, chords and keys. So let's take a look at what the circle of fifths actually is. The circle of fifths is a series of notes going round in a circle, and it goes round in a sequence of fifths, hence the name circle of fifths. So G is a fifth above C, D is a fifth above G, A is a fifth above D, and so on all the way round. Now if we go anti-clockwise, we get fourth, so F is a fourth above C, B flat is a fourth above F, and you can also see F as a fifth below C. So we're either going down in fifths or up in fourths if we go anti-clockwise. Now there's a little mnemonic that I use to remember the circle of fifths. So clockwise, I like Carol gets drunk and eats butterflies, for the F sharp there. And for the anti-clockwise mnemonic, I like Caroline fondles beads. Now there are a few different ways you can see these notes in the circle of fifths. You can see them as individual notes, you can see them as chords, and you can see them as different keys. So we'll go through each one individually. So now if we're seeing them as notes, you can use them to work out harmonies. So if you're wanting to work out a harmony of a melody that you're playing on guitar, one popular harmony is fifth. So to work out what a fifth above a particular note is, all we have to do is go clockwise by one. So if the note that's being played is C, then the harmony is going to be G. And for example, if you want to harmonize the note B and play a fifth harmony, G flat or F sharp is going to be your fifth harmony. Also, you can do this with fourths. So if you want to figure out the fourth harmony, if your note is C and you want to figure out the harmony that's a fourth above C, you just go anti-clockwise and you get F, so F would be the fourth harmony of C. You can also use the circle of fifths to work out some notes in chords. So in a major chord and in a minor chord, you've both got a root and a perfect fifth. The thirds differ, so in a major chord, you've got a root, major third, and perfect fifth. In a minor chord, you've got a root, minor third, and perfect fifth. But you can use the circle of fifths to figure out what the fifth is in your particular chord. So if we've got a C major chord, and you want to know what the fifth in your C major chord is, it's G. And all you have to do that is go clockwise. So if you want to know what the fifth in your D flat major or minor chord is, then you just go clockwise and it's A flat. You can also work out the notes in a sus4 chord. So a sus4 chord consists of a root, a perfect fourth, and a perfect fifth. So your root is here, your perfect fourth is here, and your perfect fifth is here. So a C sus4 chord would be C, F, and G. And maybe an A sus4 chord would be A, D, and E. A being the root, D being the fourth, and E being the fifth. Now you can use the circle of fifths to work out the chords in any key. So let's take the key of D, for example. D is obviously chord number 1. And the most popular chords in like pop music and kind of like modern music, I guess, are chords 1, 4, and 5. So to work out chord 4, all we have to do is go clockwise and we get chord 4, go anti-clockwise, and we get chord 4. And to get chord number 5, we go clockwise and we get chord number 5 here. So we have chord number 1, which is D, chord number 4, which is G, and chord number 5, which is A. And you can do that anywhere. So in the key of A flat, chord 1 would be A flat, chord 4 would be D flat, and chord 5 would be E flat. So we figured out chords 1, 4, and 5 in our keys. You can also work out chords 2, 3, and 6, the minor chords in your key as well. So all you have to do is, let's say we're in the key of G, chord number 1, chord number 4, and chord number 5. The other 3 chords in our key are the ones that are just directly below or adjacent. We have the chords A minor, E minor, and B minor in the key of G as well. So these 6 chords are the chords we can use in the key of G to write songs. So for example, I can just write a song in the key of G using these 6 chords right now off the top of my head. So So that's a really cool way of writing songs. You have your 6 chords all clumped together like that, and you can write songs with them. If you want to know which order to use the chords and how to extend chords, so to use 7th, 9th, 11th and 13th. So for example, I could play C, C7, C9, C6, 9, maybe a G11 or G13. Then go down to the description and I've got the first 2 chapters of my book, Chord Charisma, for free, and you can learn which order to play chords in to create really strong chord progressions, and then which extensions to use to make your chord progression sound that much nicer and embellished and kind of jazzy if you want them to. Let's continue with the video. So not only can you work out the chords in a major key, you can work out the chords in the relative minor key. So the relative minor of G major is E minor, and all these 6 chords are your chords in the relative minor E minor, because the relative minor and relative major all share the same chords. And this is chord 1 in your minor key, this is chord 4 in your minor key, and this is chord 5 in your minor key. So all you have to do, again, the same as the major key, is go anti-clockwise to get the 4 chord and clockwise to get the 5 chord in your minor key. Now we can use the circle of fifths to borrow some chords from outside of our keys, and that will spice our chord progressions up a little bit. So let's take the key of C. We have got these 6 chords available to us in the key of C. Let's take a chord progression: C, G, F. Now we take the parallel minor key, and all we have to do to get the parallel minor key is take the next set of 6 chords. So parallel meaning having the same root. So C minor, we can borrow chords from C minor to spice up our chord progression. We take a standard chord progression, that's C, G and F, and maybe we can throw in this F minor here at the end. Okay, so we have. Now the borrowed chord. Maybe we can do another chord progression in C major. We're going to do C, D minor, G. And let's borrow the A flat. This is just taken at random. Let's hope it works. I think that sounds pretty cool. So all you have to do is take the C major chords, make a chord progression with those, go to the next quadrant of the circle of fifths, I guess you would call it, and borrow chords from here and add them into your chord progression to kind of spice things up a little bit. That's something else I talk about extensively in my book if you want to check it out. Now, you can also work out key signatures with the circle of fifths. So a key signature is basically telling you how many sharp notes and how many flat notes are in your key. So for example, in the key of C, we have no sharps or flats. But now if we go clockwise and we go to G, then we have 1 sharp. And then if we keep going, we just add another sharp on. So we've got 2 sharps, 3 sharps, 4 sharps in the key of E, 5 sharps in the key of B, and 6 sharps in the key of F sharp. And we can also work out the amount of flats in our keys as well. So C has no flats or sharps, but if we go anti-clockwise, then we know that the key of F has 1 flat, the key of B flat has 2 flats, the key of E flat has 3 flats, the key of A flat has 4 flats, and D flat has 5 flats, G flat has 6 flats. Not only can we work out how many flats and sharps are in our particular keys, we can work out what those notes are as well. So in the key of G, we have 1 sharp, and what you have to do is go back by 2 in the circle of fifths, and that is going to be what our sharp note is. So the key of D has 2 sharps, and what we do is go back 2 again to add that on there. So the F sharp and C sharp are the sharps in our key of D. Now if we go to the key of A, then we add another one here, and I think you can see the pattern. We've got F sharp, C sharp and G sharp within the key of E. And if we go to E, then we've got we add the D sharp in, and we have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp within the key of E as well. And this pattern just keeps going until we end. And then with flats, what we can do is F has one flat, and that is going to be the next note. So that is B flat, okay? So the key of B flat has two flats, and that is going to be, we're going to add the next note on there. So the two flats in the key of B flat are B flat and E flat. And then in the key of E flat, we've got three flats. So we just add the next note on, and we've got B flat, E flat, and A flat in the key of E flat, and that keeps going as well. So that's how you can work out key signatures and which notes within those key signatures are the sharps and flats. So with this knowledge, we now know which keys are similar, because C has no sharps or flats, but G has one sharp, okay? So that means all we have to do to change from the key of C to G is just introduce one new note, which means changing key from C to G shouldn't be too difficult. But now if we wanted to change from the key of C to the key of B, we know that B has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sharps. So that's 5 notes that are different in the key, which means it's probably going to be quite tricky to change key from C to B like instantly. So you might want to gradually go from like G to D to A, then to E, and then to B, so that the transition is a little bit more smooth when you're modulating between these keys. Now there's one other way I really like to use the circle of fifths, and that's when I'm learning scales and I want to improve my fretboard knowledge. So for example, if I am learning the major scale, right, I will start with C and I will play the C major scale, okay? Now the circle of fifths gives us an order to play these scales in that is quite random, to be honest, and gets us playing all over the fretboard. So the next note in the circle of fifths is G, so I'd play the G major scale. Then the next note is D, so I'd play the D major scale. And as you can see, I'm playing all over the fretboard, which is really improving my fretboard knowledge. So if there's a particular chord or a particular scale that you really want to learn across the fretboard, I'd suggest using the circle of fifths, running round the circle of fifths to play this particular chord or scale in all 12 keys, and your fretboard knowledge of that particular scale or chord is going to be vastly improved after doing so. So that was my video on the circle of fifths. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you did, please like the video, let me know what you thought in the comments, and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that notification bell as well. And also make sure to check out the first 2 chapters of my book, Chord Charisma, for absolutely no cost whatsoever. It's completely free. I'm sure you'll learn a lot from those 2 chapters, and I will catch you in the next video.